What did you do first before you decided you wanted to become a mayor?
Great question. So, I did my undergraduate degree at the University of Calgary in business, and then I served as the president of the Students' Union at UC for a year. After that, I went off to Toronto and worked there for about 7 years in big business. I worked with very, very large companies on major issues of strategy. So, for example, I worked with a major cell phone company and helped them determine. It was a funny thing, back in those days, cell phones were only for business professionals. They were very expensive. The most common cell phone users were real estate agents who had to be out all day, obviously, away from their office. And the thing I worked on for the cell phone company was, do you think consumers, just regular people, would ever buy cell phones? What would we charge them for it? How would we encourage them to use it? So that's how old I am. I did another project, by the way, for a big cable company, and I was trying to convince them that they should start selling access to this thing called the internet. Not really that old. These are relatively recent things. So I did that for a number of years. I went to graduate school at Harvard, focused in public policy, but in particular in the management of nonprofit organizations. And then I decided I wanted to move back to Calgary. I'd been away for nearly a decade. I was 29 years old. And I said, you know, I always said I would come back to Calgary, and I need to figure out an excuse to come back to Calgary, and I never did now. I just wanted to come. So I quit my job in 2001 and decided I was going to move back to Calgary. I had a cousin who was graduating university and moving to Toronto, so I said to her, look, take my apartment, fully furnished, you can have all the plates, everything. I'm just leaving. And so I packed up all of my clothes and books into 47 boxes, had them shipped to my parents' basement here in Calgary, showed up myself, and I had no idea what it was I wanted to do at that point. And retirement didn't really take at the age of 29. I tried. And so I kind of wandered around a little bit, started my own consulting firm, did a few little things on the side. And then I got a phone call from one of my old professors at the University of Calgary who said, hey, I hear you're in town, and you're looking for something to do. I always thought you'd be a decent teacher. One of my colleagues is going on sabbatical. Do you want to cover for them and teach finance courses at the Basking School of Business at UC? And I said, sure, I'll try that. That ended up being a year at UC. I then got a really neat opportunity to work for the United Nations. And I was living this great life where I was commuting between Calgary and New York, 3 weeks in New York, 1 week in Calgary, working on issues of global poverty, which were fascinating work. And then my dad got upset. And I got one of those phone calls that said, come home right now. And I went straight from the office to the airport. And Dad got better, but when I got here, I said, I gotta stop doing this. I gotta make a decision about where I want to be. And I decided at that point, no more of this lying around. I'm gonna stick around here in Calgary. And I saw an ad in the newspaper for a job teaching at Mount Royal University in the field of nonprofit management, which happens to be my field. And so not really even knowing, it was Mount Royal College then, not even